Hey everybody, EO here. This last weekend, I decided to take a trip to the theater again, and actually, kind of reluctantly, decided to go see the new horror movie, You're Next. Well, I have to say it was one of the most enjoyable theater experiences I've had in a horror movie for forever. Um, the last one I think I saw was Texas Chainsaw, and I mean it was okay, but this movie, Your Next, was it was so good. Like, it was so well done for a lot of reasons. Initially, like, I mean, I had my reservations. I'd been hearing good things about it, but you never can tell until you see it yourself, or you have somebody who's not a movie critic, who's just just an audience viewer, just somebody who goes for the pure enjoyment of it and tells you it's good. Normally, when a large consensus of people like that weigh in on a movie and say it's pretty solid, usually it's pretty solid. I tend to take most professional movie critics with a grain of salt, because they're there to analyze the movie and not take into account how much they enjoyed it, or the things that you can't analyze. Excuse me. That being said, this was a real threw me for a loop. It really did. A friend of mine and I went and saw it, and it was like I said, surprisingly well done. I guess I should start with saying that if you are a fan of 80s slasher flicks, your Friday the 13th, your Halloweens, and the 20,000 other examples, this is one for you, definitely. You should definitely go see this movie. It has the feel of an 80s slasher. I mean, to the bone. It is, and it's made in a way that the filmmakers know this too. It's not done on accident. It's done purely on purpose. It has the feel of an 80s movie with the look of with the camera work and everything of better technology, which in this case blends really nicely. The first thing I noticed when the movie started was this mother and father driving to their to this cabin that they're fixing at, and I suddenly realized that the mother is played by Barbara Crampton, who any horror movie buff, any 80s cult movie buff will know who I'm talking about. But Barbara Crampton was definitely a sex symbol back in the 80s. Popular in the B movies. Reanimator is one of the best 80s horror movies anyway, but I mean that's probably what she's best known for. She acted with Jeffrey Combs in a variety of movies. I think 2 or 3 times actually. Once in Reanimator, which that may have been her first film appearance. Actually, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But then she goes on to a year later and does From Beyond, which directed by Stuart Gordon, which is based on an H.P. Lovecraft story. I've read the story too. They're remarkably different, but both movies, Reanimator and From Beyond, are totally worth checking out if you haven't seen them. Very good. Moving into Your Next again, she's really good in there. It's been a long time since I've seen her in anything, and I don't know she frequents. I think she frequents Comic Cons, Dragon Con, all that kind of stuff. But it's been a long time since I'd seen her in anything, and it was really nice to see her. She does a fine job. I mean, she's definitely not randomly cast. I mean, the people that made this movie, obviously knew who she was, obviously knew it would add kind of a credibility to their movie, in the sense that they're taken from the past, and they're one up in this thing, because people who go to this movie are fans of horror flicks, and fans of horror flicks see a lot of horror movies. So naturally, I'm sure I'm not the only one that noticed Barbara was in there. Moving on into I guess you could say the star of the film, this Sharni Vinson, who I believe is an Aussie actress. She has a heavy Australian accent, but we know accents can be faked, so I'm going to go with saying she's probably Australian until I hear different. But she's fantastic in this movie. She is utterly fantastic in this movie. Actually, all the acting in this movie is over the top like any horror movie, but it's entertaining. There's an actor who plays and the older brother of one of the kind of the main brother, Sharni Vinson's hubby in the movie, and he is absolutely hilarious. He has some of the best lines in the film. I can't tell you them or I'll ruin the movie for you. I'm going to try to do minimal spoilers in this, so you can get the full effect. But she is fantastic. She plays a character who is very strong female character. She carries the movie. As far as the overall atmosphere of the movie, it's like I said. It really ties back to the 80s again. Even the music in here is kind of a feel of like old school synth music with the intense scenes, which it gives it a real edge that a lot of these movies now don't have. Whether you like the synth background music or not, it works in a lot of cases. It worked in the 80s, it worked in the 90s to some extent, and you don't see it anymore. You don't see that happen. And you get these ominous scores that people try to create a mood with. Well, sometimes that mood doesn't need to be created with music. Sometimes it just needs to be enhanced, and let the actress let the film do its job. And that's what this does. It's clever. It's well done. It's your standard slasher as far as story goes. But there's a lot more to this story than meets the eye, especially when you get further into the movie. I kind of caught a little bit of it up front. Like I was kind of guessing, what was going to happen, and to an extent I was right. But it hides it really well. It will kind of hit you by surprise. But overall, I really enjoyed it. If I had to give it a rating, I would probably give it a solid 4 out of 5 stars. The last 2 or 3 movies I've done here, have all been around the 4-star mark, which is, it may mark my, affinity for movies, but, in the sense, all these last movies I've seen have been good, but then this one's no joke. I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I thought, okay, I'll go see this, and it'll be okay. It won't be bad. It'll be at least, it'll be something to do. And my friend that went with me, she had a horrible experience in Saw 4, and so it was kind of a running joke with us when I was like, hey, let's go see your next. And so we both laughed and we're like, okay, let's go see it. And even she really enjoyed it. So anyway, overall, 4 out of 5 stars. Go see this movie if you're a fan of 80s horror. I'll talk to you later.